the most humiliating experiences of my entire life.
Oh, okay.
And I think this might be one of
I'm
the
ready to hold
cores
space for you.
of why I have
We are ready to
social
hold space.
We're
anxiety.
Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimorelli.
Hey,
Welcome back
guys.
to
The Cimorelli podcast. I'm sorry, Christina.
Guys,
I'm
I was going to
sorry.
say your name the way that people most commonly mispronounce it. I know what Lauren's is, Lauren.
What?
Yeah.
Do you have a name, Christina?
Christine.
Christine.
Christina.
Does anyone ever mispronounce it?
No.
Mimi. They think you said Mimi.
Sometimes.
Mimi. Mine's
Never
Cat.
IRL.
Well, but I was going to say people in the Midwest say Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
They do say Catherine, and they say
Catherine?
Katie, Kate,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yeah.
No, I'm
No one ever wants to call you Catherine. I don't know why.
It's
Yeah.
like too long.
Too long. Anyway.
Back.
Today's episode
is we're gonna be talking about social anxiety and what we've done to kind of counteract that, because I fear we all get socially anxious.
Indeed.
At least
feel like
everyone on
most-
this couch in that chair.
I don't know. I feel like most people experience it at least at some point in their life. If not
Yeah, it's
every
pretty
day, then at
common.
some point.
Yeah, and
Well,
since-
okay. The fact that the number one fear, whatever, is like
Public speaking?
is that not giving everyone who has
that's
social
giving
anxiety?
social anxiety
Well, that's like times 10 though.
above
But
death.
still,
Yeah. No. Maybe.
just saying. All right, anyway.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today, guys. We're going to talk about our experiences of it and things we've done to kind of get through it, because, you know, this is a worldwide
through it.
epidemic, and anything we can do to help you guys, we want to do. Get well
You're
soon,
just such
guys.
givers.
Get well soon.
We just get
This is a tough
Give
one,
it.
guys. This is a really tough one. And it's funny because everyone is standing there in the room together feeling socially anxious. And
Do you
everyone
think
thinks they're the
anyone
only
isn't
one.
socially anxious?
Well, I always look
There's got to be
around.
some people that
yeah.
aren't, right?
I'm always looking around rooms and thinking, why do so many people look not anxious? Like some people just look like this,
Well,
or they're
Well,
like,
I'm excited
How do they look
How would
so
they
not
look
anxious?
anxious?
you know,
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh!
think-
When people are like,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
then they look anxious.
I could be filled with anxiety and just be like,
I would
That's
conjecture
shocking
that
to me.
little Nick has never felt socially anxious a moment in his entire existence.
I think
that's
you're right.
perhaps true.
I think he's the only person I can think of that maybe has never ever felt
think you're
social
right.
I bet
anxiety.
it's more people than not, though. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Way more people
Okay,
than
so
that.
let's start with the highs and lows of our weeks. Pretty much the high of every week is Christmas lights at this point.
Yes.
Because my children are freaking out about them, and we've just been looking at them so much that it's the highlight of every
I
week.
love
And I have to be like,
that.
out Barrett's window, look, 1, 2, 3. Out Tristan's window, look, 1, 2, 3. I have to like, point out every light that we're going to drive by. And I mean, it really is the high though, because we go on
cute.
extra drives, like when we're going home from places, and we go on walks. So, I mean, that is the high, I will say.
I see Christmas. Oh, that's so
I see
cute.
Christmas. Yeah, Tristan's so excited about it.
That
she
is
says
so
Christmas.
cute.
What's my low of the week? An identity crisis. Not really. Just like one of those times where you're like,
Not a girl, not yet a woman.
Yeah.
Or what's
pertaining to which identity?
what's a different? No, absolutely not. I've already been through that. What's another like relative of imposter syndrome? It's not quite imposter syndrome. It's like a relative.
Self-doubt?
Never
perhaps?
enough syndrome.
I don't know.
Not good.
Intruder syndrome. Sorry. I'm trying to think of something similar.
Yeah, just like
You're like, I'm an
intruder syndrome. Just one of those things. Yeah, just one of those. Not quite imposter, but like a relative
Intruder.
that where I'm like, what? Where you're like, well, it is kind of imposter syndrome, but not quite. It was just like a brush with it, where I'm like, what? And then you're like, but does that? I'm like, do I have any business doing X, Y, Z? And I'm like, does anyone have any business doing X, Y, Z?
true.
And then I'm like, no. And then I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, yeah. That was my low.
intruder
A
syndrome.
brush with intruder syndrome.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
That is tough. This is gonna sound dumb, but guys, hear me out. My high was scrubbing out my shower.
Not
Doesn't
dumb at
sound
all.
dumb to me.
It was so
Literally
good.
euphoric.
It was needed. It was rare. It was there. No.
And every time you step in it after you
Yes.
I was gonna say, you know, you're about to have
And
the
not
best
only
shower.
did I scrub it out, guys, I bought a new liner.
Oh,
So it's like extra
What's a
clean.
liner?
wow.
Like the shower
curtain.
liner,
Oh.
if you have like a shower curtain. Which I think you guys all have like doors or whatever, but I have a shower curtain. So it just was like extra,
Luxurious.
yes, extra great. And it felt so good to like clean up my spaces and like I had a lot of time this weekend, which made me anxious, but also not. Because I had a lot of time to clean things up and like live a nice life. So I'm like, wow, I like what I do with my time. So I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Wow.
Of like trying to like pressure myself or whatever. I'm like, I do good things with my time. I can like
Good
relax.
steward of your time.
Exactly. It was fun. Watched many Hallmarks as per usual. Yeah, it was great. And then I fear Friday night I was so tired. This was a low because okay guys. So I am like, I need alone time, okay? Time there's alone time and then there's time being alone in your home. Which I know
What?
it like you can have alone time in your room but people are home. But nothing quite hits when you need alone
being
time
home
when there's
alone.
nobody home.
Oh, I
so
love it.
true.
And so that's why it was a low. I wanted that alone time, and then all of my friends descended upon my house. So then I said, ta-ta, and climbed the steps and put in headphones and pretended I was home alone in my room. And I had to do some journaling about that one because I was like, I am such a bad person because I don't want my friends to be in my house right now. What do I do? Because I was like, I didn't invite them here, but other people that live with me did. So it's like, it wasn't a problem
price you
per
pay.
se. Exactly, for being popular. It wasn't a problem per se. It was just like a stressor.
Oh
So I
my
need to be like,
gosh.
I'm going to see all you yahoos literally tomorrow. I can put in my headphones and pretend you don't
Yes,
exist
you
today.
can do that.
And I don't need
It's
to feel
fine.
guilty about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a weird conundrum because you're like, my friends are sitting in my house, but I did not invite them here. So what do I do with that?
I've been there
Yeah.
many times, and
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm like, I'm busy. Bye.
See, I wish I'm starting to be like that. So I had to do some journaling. Then I put in my headphones, did a face mask, and watched a Hallmark movie once again, and then watched an episode or two of Psych, and it was a great time. And then I went downstairs and greeted the
telling us
people.
you were tired?
And then, yes, I greeted the people, and then I left after like 2 minutes. So I said, good night, everybody.
My high. I think you were done.
Yeah, I was
You told
done.
a lot.
I did tell a lot. But
My high was your low because I was there with the people while you were upstairs.
yeah.
She's the reason for the low.
No.
No, my
No,
high. Oh, yeah, I am.
Yes, she is.
Well,
Because
every time can we go back to your house? So technically,
yeah, and I said yes.
yeah. Melanie, if you're when you are watching, you are not the full reason for the low. Okay.
Just part of it.
yeah, but I love you,
Okay, but we went.
Okay.
Did
and I'm
this,
happy you were in my home and had a good time.
we went and did this Christmas light drive-through thing, and then we got some food, and then came
Aw,
back and
that's fun.
hung out. Oh my gosh. And it was just like one of those moments where like I laughed so hard that I fell off the couch, and I'm like,
Oh,
Love it.
Whoa.
Oh, those nights are so good.
no! The other night,
hi.
Ariel and I were
I
talking
fell.
about the holding space for Defying Gravity meme. And for some reason, we were out of our minds. So we were laughing so hard. My abs were hurting. I was on the
Yes,
floor.
I literally couldn't breathe.
I
I
was
fell
like,
off the couch.
Also, I had like burned something on the stove. And so, like, I was like fanning out the kitchen while screaming, Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, are our neighbors outside? because they're right there, but I don't think they were. But yeah, anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I just think having those moments of deep laughter
good
just
for the
resets
soul.
something in
It
you.
does.
So
So
good.
that was my high. It was a good time. My low was on Sunday. I was like really sore from a run that I went on the day before. So I was like sitting there in church and I was like, I can't do this.
That time.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I'm gonna fall asleep. My whole body hurts. I can't be here.
Okay, kneeling takes a lot of core strength.
It does. I just stand, kneel, sit, all this stuff. I wasn't ready for it, and I just
truly
didn't
is an active
appreciate
experience.
feeling that way.
Kneel,
I
sit.
wanted to have a peaceful experience, and I didn't. Okay,
I get it.
didn't get the yogurt I wanted. Said the rest of the.
No, for real.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you got it.
Didn't I go?
You
Uh,
didn't even hear my joke.
I liked
hear
it.
your joke.
And she rejected it.
I thought it was
I
funny.
thought I knew you.
I laughed in my mind.
I think I did
But
too.
I was thinking, did I go or not? And I couldn't remember. Didn't I go? Yeah, I went.
Yeah, you did. You
No,
did.
why did
Guys, I gotta
Because
say
I forgot that you went.
a sentimental tangent on Lauren's commentary. This might be sappy, but the older you get, the more you just need to seek out laughter.
You do.
I gotta say.
I
I-
just need to seek
Like
out
the last
laughter.
2 years, I would
No, you
say,
do.
I've been really watching a lot of comedy and
Yeah.
comedy specials, and it just really brings joy to the soul. Like you got to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
agree.
No, laughter I think is actually very important.
It's the best
physically, like,
medicine.
crying.
Yeah, like as an adult, it's like you already have so much serious stuff going on. Like just take a
Yeah.
minute and just laugh.
Take a load off.
Take a
Yeah.
laugh. Yeah.
I am laughing all day for my children, I will say. I am
Got 'em.
literally laughing all day.
I am not. Because
I'm
I don't
laughing
have
or I'm deep
your
breathing.
children. No. I'm laughing until they do something wild and then I start to deep breathe.
Well, yeah, laughing or crying or deep breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But they do make
Or
me
I'm
laugh
like,
all day.
what are you doing? That happened this morning. One of my sons literally, maybe that was my lows this morning, trying to have a screen-free morning, and we don't. They don't have like iPads, but they watch TV. So I was trying not to do any TV for like the first few hours of the day, and one of my sons decided it would be fun to throw his plate like a frisbee, and there was literally just Cheerios just exploded everywhere. I was like,
no.
and then the other one, I was cleaning that up, and then the other one grabbed the box and started going, woo! And like just raining Cheerios. And I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, deep breathe, deep breathe. It's okay.
They love messes.
They're very talented at making a big mess very quickly. I'll
Artists.
say that was probably my low. I'll
Wait,
say
when I was watching them, Kath got groceries delivered, and I was like putting stuff away, and they were in the corner right next to me. I didn't even realize, and they were grabbing the toilet paper and shredding it and tossing it in the air.
Nothing
Just like
is
very
safe.
quickly shredding it. Very quickly.
Nothing is safe. Yeah, and then I was trying to give Asa, the baby, his bottle, and then Dominic grabbed my purse and just started throwing things out of it. I was like, my car keys, stop it. Mommy needs those. I have to drive the car. But I didn't want to like disturb Asa because he was eating. So anyway, just moments like that that are just
Barrett loves the good what's in my
keep
purse.
you on my toes. Yeah,
He
oh my
takes
gosh.
everything out and examines it.
It's all fun and games until they go for your stamps. You're like, not my stamps.
Never
I gotta
the
use
stamps.
those. They're not stickers. Don't take
Oh,
my
that's
stamps.
if they start sticking.
Oh my
everywhere.
gosh,
Oh, well.
yes. I would say my high was last night. It
my
was really sweet. We did like their nightly routine. We like did their bath. We were about to do stories. And then Dominic grabs this picture, this family. Oh, it was actually a picture of me and Max when I was pregnant with the twins that I had given Max for like a Father's Day gift. And it's like framed. And he grabbed it off the shelf and he just started giving it a kiss. And he was like, my family loves me so much.
Oh,
And he just kept saying it, and he was like holding on to the picture, and it was like it had like a glass thing.
That's so
Otherwise, I
funny.
would have let him like take it, but he wanted to like take it with him to bed, and he was like,
He's
"This
so,
is
like,
my mommy,
sappy
my
and
daddy.
deep.
They love me so much."
You should print him out a copy, Kat.
I gave them each an entire album of family pictures. That there's many like that in there.
he is so sentimental.
He's so
Wait,
sentimental.
which one did this?
Dominic.
Dom. That makes sense.
Guys,
Yeah.
Dominic is just he's so sweet.
He's very in touch with his emotions.
Every like really deep, like he loves skin. Actually, Leah loves it too. But like Dom loves one of our new songs. It's very sappy. If you knew me then, he's very sentimental guy.
Very sappy.
Well, it's like
sentimental.
soulful,
He loves to
yeah.
feel that feeling.
Yes. Yeah, very sweet. So anyway,
That's so cute.
it was really cute. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he knows that he's loved. Like, I've just felt really...
See,
wow.
you're doing a great job.
I know. It's one of those moments... I feel like every once in a while as a parent, a lot of times you're just like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Am I ruining everything? And then one thing's happened and you're like, okay, maybe I'm doing something good here. And you're like, okay, good. Reassuring. But yeah, very sweet.
See, you can still be on fire and your kids know that you love them.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Catherine is always talking about how she's running around with her hair on fire.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yep.
Okay, so I forgot to say at the beginning, where's Lisa? She's supporting her husband through his cancer treatment right now, so please keep them in your prayers. They got a good update in, was it November? Yeah, beginning of November. So that was great news. Thank you for your prayers. Like, it means so much. So please keep up with the prayers, and they really appreciate it. And then if you want to see all of our full episodes, because we only post every other one fully on our Patreon, you got to join our Patreon. Patreon.com/Cimorelli. It is $5 a month, and you get all the full episodes, all the past series we've done. Every Monday we do Motivation Monday. We start your week off on a good foot. Then you gotta join our Patreon because we have Motivation Monday. Hello, every Monday. And you have all our past Monday Q&As, our past series like things we don't talk about, and Lisa's Wacky Wednesdays. Oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff on there. We do a monthly live stream, members only, and we play unreleased songs and tell you all the news that has not been put out to the public yet. So it's a great place to be, just saying. And if you want to support us, that's a great way to do it. So thank you so much to our patrons. We love you guys. And you need to be part of Lauren's Take and 5 Pops. Just saying. Shopify. Shout out to Shopify. We've used Shopify personally for years. The Cimorelli merch store uses Shopify, and Lauren's our main merch gal. She's in the head of the merch department here at Cimorelli headquarters.
Cimorelli Inc.
Did you say that? I can't remember. You love it. I mean, not much to say about it. It's great.
It's great. I really like how the analytics are. It's really like user friendly, like looking through all the back end stuff. Like it's not like confusing and weird. It's like very easy to use. Well, some things are confusing and weird, and
Very
this
true.
wasn't. And we've never had any issues with them in the however many years.
That might be the only thing we've ever worked with that we've never had one issue with.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So we are definitely huge fans of Shopify, so it's amazing to have them sponsoring the podcast. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. So upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Cimorelli, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Cimorelli to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Cimorelli. All right, let's get to the main topic. I was like, the main topic. Like, it's like a fun topic. I'm like, it's not a fun topic. But we're going to make it. We're going to make it intriguing.
Meaningful.
Sure. Yeah.
Intriguing.
I don't know. I'm
Mysterious.
serious.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it fun. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be
Thoughtful.
I don't think it's gonna be unfun.
It'll be enjoyable to connect
Yeah.
with us.
We're not gonna be like, well, I can't speak for myself, but we're not gonna be putting on a stand-up show, but
Exactly.
it'll. I don't even know what I'm saying.
As
Because
my,
knowing myself, I will be putting
my
on a
therapist
stand-up
always
show.
tells me to stop doing.
What?
She's like, don't make a joke.
Yes.
My therapist doesn't even laugh at the jokes. She's like,
Oh, that's tough. Mine does.
My
sometimes.
one laughs a lot at them, and then she's like, okay, don't make a joke.
she laughs sometimes, like, cause when she can't control it. And I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah. No, that's how I feel. With mine.
Meredith
I
likes
get her
some
to
of my
laugh.
jokes, which
Because
is
she
good.
tries not to laugh. She's like, this is serious.
This is serious.
But I'm like, why can't we just joke through the seriousness? That's where I get my best material.
Well, do that every day off.
SMH. All right, so we're talking about social anxiety.
Anxiety.
Wait, I want to read like a definition.
A plague
of it.
on our society.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
This is one thing I've never gone over in therapy that I really should have gone over in therapy that I decided I'm going to bring up next week, because why on earth have I never brought this up to a therapist ever? Okay, so social anxiety. For people with social anxiety disorder, everyday social interactions cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Symptoms may include excess fear of situations in which one may be judged, worry about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending someone.
Okay.
Social anxiety disorder, more than just shyness.
Got him.
It is an intense, persistent fear of being watched and judged by others. Oh, I feel that. This fear can affect work, school, and other daily activities. It can even make it hard to make and keep friends.
I feel like shyness is different than being quiet, though, because I feel like shyness
Yes.
comes with anxiety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're saying more than just shyness.
It's
Oh,
a
as
difference
it's part of it?
between I cannot speak and I'm choosing not to.
What's that like?
Different.
How do you choose not to speak?
Because you just don't really feel compelled to.
When
I'm just
how do you
gonna
not feel
challenge.
compelled to speak?
That is a
The
great
power
question.
of Christ compels me.
It really does.
Compels
I don't know. Honestly, when I think of being an extrovert like that, sounds kind of scary because it's like you don't know
what's gonna
and
fly
you have to be
out.
like, oh, I didn't mean that. Because if I just said every thought, it's like, well, I didn't fully think about it yet.
Yes!
So
Because that's how you think, is by talking. So you say a bunch of whack, like half-baked ideas because they're not. You're baking them by speaking.
It is
Yeah,
so
I would
embarrassing.
say I had a moment of this the other day that I was talking to the pest control guy, and he was like, so I went through, checked all the traps and stuff, like the insect traps or whatever. He's like, so your bait is completely gone in the garage. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he's like, no, that's actually bad. That means that you've had rodents coming in. I was like, oh. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, the bait's gone. Like,
You
that's
do
great.
this a lot, actually.
I'll just like immediately react.
misunderstanding, though. You
I know,
can
but it's
get
like
what
I
he
just
meant.
immediately react instead of like sitting to ponder for a
Yeah,
moment.
I'd
if it's
probably
good or
be
bad.
like,
What could this
okay.
mean?
I've never
Kath, you
pondered.
totally do that a lot, where you do automatically do a reaction of like, awesome, to something that I'm like, what is she saying?
It
And then
wasn't
it's like,
good.
oh, okay.
Oh,
Just try
yeah.
to be upbeat.
That would be like, I would be the opposite though, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, what does that mean? It must be terrible.
I just,
Right.
You're like, oh,
The bait's gone. What does that mean?
I just, when people talk to me as if I know what they're saying, I just go along with it. And I'm like, wait, I don't know.
that's my biggest
I love
problem
that.
with social anxiety, that I will say, is that people, especially like employees or people who are working, you're somewhere where they're working,
Okay.
they assume because they're doing something every day that you know what they're talking about.
Oh
my
when
God.
you don't know what they're talking about because they're doing it all day long. That's my biggest, probably my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is at the root of social anxiety? Well, of yours, because it's different for.
Yeah.
It's
Ooh,
a similar
yeah.
vibe, but it's going to be specific to the person. You know what phrase I hate? It's different. I almost said it. It's different for everyone. Not exactly, or like everyone's different. It's like well, wait, is that the exact phrase I hate? There's one phrase I hate the most. Everyone's different. It's like, well, not exactly. This does have similarities. There's a lot of
Yeah.
similarities, but it's going to be like
Yeah.
unique.
I think
specifically
it's
to
everyone
you.
has their unique version.
Are you talking about
Wait,
things
probably
that trigger
under
your social
umbrellas.
anxiety?
I'm saying what's at
What's
the
at the
core? This is
root?
talking
Yeah,
about
that's a good
The fear of
question.
being humiliated, embarrassed,
I think
being
it's-
judged, perceived. What is?
Yeah.
I think
okay.
it's shame.
For me,
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, being judged as what?
Well, okay.
Okay.
for
okay.
me and my many travels with my social anxiety of trying to figure that out, what it comes down to for me is, I think maybe is shame. Where, okay, so I have lived most of my life, as most people do, with this negative tape kind of playing in your subconscious all day. You're a loser, you're a failure, nobody likes you, everyone hates you, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like saying that like consciously, but if I really think about it, those thoughts are kind of coming up in the background. So if I am going about my day already in a fragile state because all I'm telling myself all day is like, people don't like me, I am all these negative things, then one like weird look from someone or one like harsh tone, it hits so hard at these pain points that I already have, which I guess you could say that's like shame and like negative core beliefs. So it's like when there's such a strong foundation of negativity in my mind, then somebody just even poking one of those hurts so much because it's so strong inside me. So, like, for example, I've noticed that, like, what I've been doing to work on it, just one example, is noticing what I'm thinking about what somebody said or did to me and noticing how negative it is, which we wouldn't necessarily notice unless you really start to think about it. Like, I was sitting next to this guy that I didn't know, and I like said something to him, try to like make conversation. He kind of just like dismissed it. It was like, I don't know, blah, blah. And in my mind I'm like, oh, this guy hates me. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm sitting next to someone I don't know and they hate me. It's like, that is really stressful. And I caught that and I was like, he does not hate you. There's no indication of hate right now. There's this man hates you.
There's no evidence.
And it's like, yeah,
know enough
maybe he doesn't want to talk to me, and that's fine. It doesn't mean he hates me.
That's very different than he hates you. He doesn't want to talk to you.
And I noticed my anxiety swelling when I was thinking, oh my gosh, okay, this person next to me hates me. And then when I was like, they don't hate you, then it went back down. And then I was at the grocery store and this lady, she asked me like, oh, do you need bags? Or do you need bags? And I was like, oh, like I said, I don't or I do. I didn't have bags. And she like thought that I didn't hear what she said. And she's like, no, I said, do you need bags? And it was like kind of this harsh tone. And I was like, and I felt that like shame, the wave of shame over me of like, oh, she was harsh to me. But I had to like literally in the process while she's bagging my groceries in this like 1 minute time, I'm like doing this whole equation thing in my mind. And I'm like, okay, it's okay that I didn't hear what she said. And yes, that was a harsh tone, but that doesn't mean that she hates me either. And then you know what? Then she was like, all right, have a nice day. And she gave me a nice farewell message. And I was like, she didn't hate me. For me, it's like, or having negative perceptions about myself and then projecting those really extremely onto other people so that any tiny thing feels like a stab to the heart.
You said to yourself what a loving parent would have said to you in the moment. Wow. You literally parented yourself.
I'm so proud.
Like if you were a little kid and you told your mom and your mom would say something that, like whatever you said, it's okay that you didn't, like you literally did that to yourself.
Wow. Look at you.
What about when it's like socially, so like I think there's am I right, two kind of main topics here. There's places of business and there's social
gatherings,
situations, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much those two.
Yeah.
What's the fear of in social gatherings?
Yeah, because that's interesting because I have never made that distinction before, but I definitely don't have fear in places of business. Like, I would always be the one like, okay, Kath, you call in the order, or like you call and ask this question. I'm like, as long as I'm being polite, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. Calling a restaurant to place an order or like calling a business to ask a question. Like I just called the like place where I do my lap swimming and I was like, hey, I had a question about the schedule online. I was confused about this. And the lady was really nice. Like that doesn't bother me because I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. But social settings are much more the Wild West, especially you don't really know who's going to be there. I think, yes, definitely shame is a huge part of it. I think the deepest part of it is that we have this primal thing in us that wants to belong to the group. And if you feel like you are at the risk of being excluded or just other, like you're just kind of weird or outside or you said something that didn't quite go or like your joke didn't land, like
the joke not landing.
It feels like you're kind of risking like this exclusion or this like being ostracized, which that's probably not gonna happen. But one of the most humiliating experiences of my entire life.
Okay.
And I think this might be one of
I'm
the
ready to hold
cores
space for you.
of why I
We
have
are ready to
social
hold space.
We're
anxiety.
ready.
This literally traumatized me.
Oh, no.
So I was. You guys know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I was 17 years old.
No, I hate
I know,
this
it's so
story.
cringe. It's
no
so cringe.
offense. Like,
And it's
He's
okay.
the horrible
Honestly, it
person.
doesn't bother me as much when I think about it, but in the moment, it was so like literally ran out of there, like cried when I got to a private, like it was so bad. But I was at a bonfire with a group of friends, and it was my best friend, and then there was like a bunch of her guy friends. So I didn't really like
friends.
I didn't really. They were like pretty nice guys. Like they weren't like rude or anything. But I just didn't know a lot of them, so I didn't feel super comfortable. And this guy came in, and he was British, so he was kind of like
Not the British.
he was kind of doing like this bit of like roasting the dumb Americans, like sharing a lot of like history stuff, and then like he was roasting a lot of people.
Did he
like,
share the part where they lost the war? Did you share that part?
But he mentioned like a dictator, and I didn't know who he was talking about. And I said, "Oh, who is that?" I think he said it was like Pol Pot was the name.
Yeah.
Which
I remember this in grade.
and I was like,
memory.
and I said, "Oh, who's that?" Like innocently, just asking for clarification as he was telling some I don't know what he was talking about. It's blurry. And then he literally said, "You don't know who that is? Go to school, read a book." And then he just continued on with like his monologue or whatever it was.
Not the monologue.
And I don't think anyone else, like he literally roasted other guys there that night, but I was so embarrassed, like
What
my
a
cheeks turned
miserable
red.
person.
I like immediately like waited for a second, exited, went out to my friend's like other, I think she was it was like a wood shed or barn or something that was like off on the side. I just like bawled. I felt so dumb, and like it's like I think
I'm sorry, how many books are mentioning Pol Pot though? It's not like you can like
any
look
book
it up
you
in
read.
any. You pick up Charles Dickens, you pick up like Oliver Twist. There he is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like Little Women?
I can't believe no one
The dictionary?
said-
Not in there. I don't know.
I can't believe no one said anything. I am so mad I wasn't there. But I can't believe no one said anything because that is such a weird,
The thing
rude
is,
thing
like,
to say.
it was very rude. I don't know if any of those guys noticed because I didn't really react in the moment. I kind of just like
Yeah,
I
but
just
regardless of your reaction, that's so weird.
it
to be
was
so
very like
rude.
very straight up rude. And yeah, actually afterwards he did end up like, okay, so I think this might have been an ulterior motive, but he had a crush on my friend and he liked her, and so then she obviously came with me and she was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe he said that. And so then she was like annoyed. He might have just been trying to get like with her, like on her good graces. So he did message me afterwards and apologize, which was really nice.
Okay, that's
And we had like a
nice.
conversation and he was like, I'm so sorry.
And he told you who Pol Pot was.
I didn't hear it because I
recommended
ran
some
out.
books.
But I think it's like, that's obviously a pretty extreme situation. Like most people aren't literally insulted like that. But
I feel like that's the fear, though.
That's
It's
the
like
fear that
being
you carry.
humiliated and shamed
yes,
like that.
it
That
literally
is
yeah.
the worst fear.
Yeah, because
Oh my
if you
gosh,
don't
yeah.
know people, you don't know what they're gonna say or do. You don't know how they're gonna interact with you. So it's like,
Yeah.
But it's
worst
weird that
case.
I feel like almost like that when it's so like minuscule kind of, because I would say people are kind of one of two ways in public situations. People are standoffish, and no matter like when they've just met you, no matter how many whatever you say, they just don't connect with you at all, and they're just not going, they're not trying to connect with you. That's not going to happen. Or people are like open to being friendly, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are just not open to being friendly when they meet you, or maybe it's just me specifically. I feel like this happens a lot.
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
And that is so, because I'm obviously the opposite kind, or the other one. I will talk to anyone. I will connect with you. I'll talk to you about whatever you want, anything. I'll talk to you about anything. I'll ask you questions. We will chat. I am open to connecting with you. I will talk to you, whatever. I feel like I will make it an easy, fun time if you're not really annoying.
Yeah.
But then so many people are just like,
I think I have a problem where I don't notice, and Lauren's gonna laugh at me for this.
when people are like
when
that?
people don't want to connect with me. I don't notice.
You keep going.
I
like,
keep
Amy,
going because I'm
this
like,
person hates
Well, you know, that would be
and then I'm like,
that would be nice to
maybe
not
they did
notice.
hate me. Oops.
Okay, but at the end of the day, like that's
a tinge
No,
embarrassing.
that's not a crime.
But that's
But
fine
it's
though.
like,
You're just being nice.
Genuinely, like I don't like. I think I have.
I think I'd rather have that problem.
I have a problem where I don't quite read, and I think social situations super well. Sometimes.
There are some times I've seen.
Yeah, and I don't really care
Yeah.
to read them weller.
Well, because it's just like, I feel like someone says something kind of like rude or annoying to you, and you don't take it as rude or annoying.
No.
And you're just like, oh, haha, yeah. Which honestly is maybe a better way to live. But to me, I'm like, they're being rude.
Lord knows
though.
those people are bullying me, and I'm like, wait, what? They were bullying me?
Which, like,
Yeah.
they're like friendly to you, but then they're also not. And that's
Yeah.
like a weird
So
thing.
I don't know. That's just my own mental problem. But
I feel like it is. I don't know. I just feel like that is a crushing blow when people in public. It's like they don't even know you though. It's not that dramatic. But I'm
Yeah.
like, why
well,
can't?
because it's a feeling of rejection.
I'm like, why can't everyone just be nice all the time? And that's not realistic.
Well,
it's not gonna happen.
yeah.
But I'm like, why can't everyone just be nice? Like, I want to talk to you, whoever you are.
I feel
Why don't
like
you want to talk to me?
maybe it's easier for me to,
Relate to them.
yeah.
Because
Because
there's
like,
plenty of times when you
because
don't.
I'm like, I'm not like, oh, I hate this person, I don't want to talk. I'm just
but
like,
people think you
I'm
do.
feeling really introverted. I don't have the capacity. I'm scared to talk to them. I'm feeling anxious, and I know that I could come across like I don't care or want to connect because I don't want to connect because I'm like, I can't do this right now. So I feel like when people are like that, I think maybe I give them more grace with it of like, okay, it's not that they hated me. I don't know why they felt
So
that way.
hard.
Maybe they just don't care, which is fine. They don't have to care about me.
yeah.
And also, maybe they're just shy. Maybe they're scared. They're insecure. Like, I think also when you have a more bold personality, which somehow I feel like I do have that, even though I'm also really
you have a
introverted,
bold presence for sure.
then people
It's like a
get
bold
intimidated.
lowercase.
Yeah, but people can get intimidated, and then you feel like weird because they're like, hey. But it's like, it's just because they feel kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
probably have that.
I think they
effect.
don't know. No one knows how nice someone's going to be. No one knows how trustworthy someone is.
Yeah.
Everyone has been hurt by someone and they're scared. They don't know if they can trust you. They don't know what you're going to be like.
Yeah.
And I notice I do have to, it's so annoying. I have to really analyze situations and downplay myself and be like self-deprecating to make people feel
I
at
do
ease.
that too.
If I don't do that, if I do not do that, it depends on the crowd of people. Most crowds, I have to do that. If I don't do that, it does not go well for me.
I wonder if
I
being
mean-
short is good for me because I think it makes me less threatening.
Oh my god.
Well, you're also very friendly.
But like my personality is like very, very big.
But you might be right.
And I
on
think
that.
if I was a larger
oh
person,
yeah, it might be more.
it
like,
would be
whoa.
like really a
you
lot.
may be right.
And I think that I would feel like you a lot probably. Because maybe you would feel different if you were shorter. TBH.
And because I trigger a lot of people of like their moms.
you trigger authority issues so
yeah,
much.
I trigger people's authority
People
issues.
can't handle a strong woman. They just
I
can't.
really trigger people's authority issues. I'm not okay. I feel like you might think that I would be like so bossy in every situation. Absolutely not.
You're not.
Absolutely. I can be like silent in social situations. I'm not the person who's like, there's like a person in social situations who will like be loudmouth and be like taking the lead and everything. That is not me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. So I don't know how I still come across that I'm triggered.
I
It's
think
just the way that I am.
Your
I still will
essence.
trigger people's authority issues.
I think you do too.
And that is a rough one.
You both do.
So I would say, okay, so I'm going to get to the other thing. So socially, what are things that have helped you the most? Someone already said them. You kind
I
of said
said
yours.
some,
Well,
yeah.
really socially. What are the things that have helped you the most socially when you're feeling really anxious?
Okay, so I feel like I'm actually realizing I don't know that I've consciously worked on social anxiety, but I've noticed that going into social settings, there's different ways I approach it that are helpful or not helpful. And I'm thinking about this now. This is a really good conversation because I'm like, I don't think I thought about this before, but I feel like at the heart of being a people pleaser is that you put your self-worth on how other people react to you.
Yes.
And that is a very miserable way to live if you think about it. So I think one of your best tools that literally anyone can switch on at any time is just self-awareness. Going into the party, asking yourself, instead of being so, which I know everyone, it's, if you're a people pleaser, you tend to think like, how's everyone going to react to me? What are they going to think of what I'm wearing? What are they going to think of what I said? What should I say when I see this person? Like, you're like, I know it. I do the same thing. You're rehearsing everything. You're going through it. But really, I think you got to try your best to be self-aware and be like, okay, how am I feeling tonight? What's my mood? Do I want to talk a lot? Am I not feeling as chatty? What do I want to wear that I feel comfortable in? That makes me, and I've kind of set this intention. I actually just went to a baby shower over the weekend, and I always get socially anxious before, but I was like, I just want to try to be showing up authentically. Baby. Well, I was like, I knew I'm going to be talking with people. Obviously, showering the baby, yes, it's important. But I was like, in conversations,
showing up often.
Yeah. I just want to show up as myself and not feel bad if people don't like that, or if you like. And I actually, setting that intention, one of my friends was saying she set an intention before a family gathering that was like, I'm going to like be at peace or something. And she just like said it to herself before she went in. And I was like, ooh, that's such a good thing. So I set intention. I was like, I'm just going to be myself. And that was a great intention for me to like be self-aware. And I feel like I was way more relaxed in conversations just setting that little intention before going in. Also, I think some people are social people and some people are one-on-one, and I'm definitely one-on-one. I always go to a social gathering and I start some long, deep conversation.
I know.
And then I'm like, this is not the place for it, but
I
just can't not do
opposite.
that.
But that's like, I mean, I'm like that though, where I like to go to like a party, but then just go and find like one or two people that I connect with there, and then I just want to talk to them the whole time
and have a deep conversation,
or like have like little conversations, but like I'm not trying to go blah 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 with everyone.
Yes.
I'm alone on this couch in that regard. My worst fear is going with people.
Yeah, you always see Amy in like a big group, like talking about like the general topics, which I do sometimes have a really hard time with talking about all these general topics, because I'll have like a completely opposite viewpoint, and I'm like, it's crushing me on the inside. I'm like, what about this? What about that? And you don't say any of those things. Or I'm so painfully not interested in what they're talking about, but I'm trying so hard.
I'm so interested.
To
Tell me about your uncle's cousin. Like,
well, they're not telling me about anything interesting.
They're just talking
well,
about
it doesn't have to be interesting to
But
me.
also,
and I want it to be.
but you
It's
don't
hard.
have to keep talking to them if it's so painful. That's what I realized.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to connect. It's not happening. I need to move on. Next.
This is when you say, excuse me,
Maybe
I'm gonna
that's
use
why
the restroom.
I jump around so
That-
much, because I'm just like, oh, talk to you.
That's something.
Talk to you.
When you're with people that you don't know, I think the expectations need to be completely like taken so far down.
Yeah.
It is very difficult if you are with a bunch of people who you do not know to have a genuinely like great time. They don't know you. They don't know if they can trust you. You don't know if you can trust them. We don't know anything about each other. We don't know what we have in common. We don't know what we've been through. Like that, I think always thinking when you're in a place where you don't know anyone and you're like, oh, this is going to be fun. I think you can't. That's kind of hard though, because it's like, what expectations do you go in with? Because I don't think that is fun. I think the only way it's fun for people is like when they're drinking. I think if you're drinking, I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing if you're drinking, you're not going to feel all the exact same anxieties. It's not going to feel the same. So I think if you're comparing yourself to people who are not in the same state of mind, I think that's one of my problems I never thought about before. Because most times in those situations, people are drinking. So they are taking the edge off, and they are...
Because they're all feeling social anxiety
maybe
too.
not as obsessed with having one-on-one deep conversations as you are. So that's part of the problem. But then if you think about that validates it. You're like, everyone's drinking, and everyone who's drinking wouldn't be drinking if this was so fun without drinking. If this was so so great without drinking, they wouldn't be like, I need to drink right now, right? So then I'm like, okay, that validates this for me. And as a teenager, I used to think this, and I kind of lost it over time. But I used to think like, over time, I'm never going to be drinking in these social situations that everyone else is. And I feel like I'm going to build up something throughout life as I do that. Now that I'm at this place, I don't know what I built up. I don't know if it happened. I guess we'll find out. I don't know if that happened, but it's interesting. to think about.
I mean, that is definitely something that I tell myself.
I forget about that a lot.
In like a party kind of situation with a lot of people, is like, I know you all are just as anxious as me. I know that you are. And even if people are drinking, maybe not, but it's either, if they are, then they're not noticing you so much. They're not like thinking about you. They're lost in the moment. So it's either like people are in another headspace, or they're just as anxious as me. And it's like, I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to be a human person that is just walking around. Because that feels so awkward, just like walking through the door. And I have to tell myself, I am allowed to just walk through the door and walk past these people. I'm allowed to be here. Like, that sentiment has actually been a really big thing for me. Like, even in the grocery store, like, I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to be here, like, as a human being, not as something that's like pleasing to others. I'm allowed to just exist here as me, as a human person.
I'm always nervous because if I'm in like the walkway, someone's trying to get through. So I literally just walked into this party, and I saw someone else was coming in behind me. So I tried to really quickly move out of the way, and I walked into the refrigerator behind me, and the water, it was one of those weird things where the water is like sticking out really far, and I hit the button and I started squirting water down my back. Trying to like jump out of the way. Anyway, I just thought about that because
you're allowed to do that.
You're allowed to be there in
but
the
also
walkway.
I really am allowed to stand in the walkway for a second while I move instead of like scurrying out of the way.
You're allowed to like take your time to move.
That is another kind of social anxiety about which I want to get. My main social anxiety is in places of business. That is my number one social anxiety.
Thanks for listening to the Cimorelli podcast. To hear the rest of this episode, join our Patreon at patreon.com/Cimorelli, where we post every episode in full. You can also watch all of our past seasons and Patreon-only episodes when you become a patron.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Facebook and Instagram.